and also level of moral decadence in the country. And I think it's important that we continue to sensitize the public on the do's and don'ts. That will go a long way in really helping to position this country. Now, moving away from that, we'll go further with discussion as we also speak on the issue concerning malnutrition in Nigeria, measures to be taken right there, especially when we put into consideration that about 42% of Nigerian kids are malnourished. What is the cause of this, especially when you put into consideration a developing nation like Nigeria? What are the factors responsible for this? Also joining us via phone will be Tijani, National Youth Ambassador, speaking on this issue, talking about malnutrition and also measures being taken by federal government to combat it right there, shedding light on this and also looking for way forward right there. We'll connect with Danny via phone as we talk about this issue and other major factors right there. A whole lot of things when it comes to this, and see how we can really be able to marshal things in the course of the program right there. Where we try to really connect with him. We should take a quick break. We'll connect with Tijani. Good morning on Night TV. On joining us via phone is Tijani Yusuf right there. And we're taking a look at the level of malnutrition. A wonderful morning to you, Mr. Tijani.
Thank you. Good morning once again.
Thank you so much for joining us online right there for this morning. We're taking a look at the level of malnutrition right there and looking at measures. Let's quickly, according to survey, about 42% of Nigerian youth are living under malnourished. What is your take on this, and do you think government is doing enough in combating this?
Thank you very much. Good morning once again. I still remember my able self ambassador Tijani Abdulmumini, the president of the Young Ambassadors of Northern Nigeria Initiative for Good Governance. You see, first we need to understand what is even food insecurity or malnutrition. The food insecurity is a person, is simply to say a person is food insecure when they lack regular access to enough safe and nutrition food for normal growth and development and an active and healthy life. As it stands like this now, the government have actually done something, but they are not well doing things again, as we may understand. Because if you look at it now, so many of the youth of this country today have no access to good job, to even help them in equally seeing how they can even make a living. It's only when you're able to make a living that you will be able to see how you can put a good food on your table to eat. And when you talk about the issue of food insecurity, this may be also due to unavailability of food and lack of resources to obtain food. Today, if you look at it, so many youth today are roaming on the street because they have no job. Where will they have this money to even have the food to even differentiate, or to even look at it as, okay, let us have this today, like the vegetable, the issue of good food and the rest. Well, people have already so much relied on taking starchy foods virtually every day. So you don't even have enough resources. How will you even look at how you can even change the food that you take on daily basis? So to be very, very candid, there is a lot of issue. It's a very big issue and a very big crisis in the teeming youth of this country, Nigeria. But I want to equally see how the government, despite the fact that the vice president have sat down with some of the partners and so many stakeholders in this country to address the issue of malnutrition and food insecurity, but we are still faced with a lot of challenges, especially when we cannot even produce good food or produce enough food from our own local environment to the city or to the urban areas to say to the urban area for people's consumption. Even though some persons are saying there is food, but there is no enough resources to purchase this food and get this food to the table of the teeming youth of this country. My stake here, and to the good people of Nigeria and the youth, is to see how government will make the environment an enabling for the youth to try to equally see how they can make an end live in the society, so that they will have a better malnutrition or maybe better food security for the benefit of the nation.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's take our mind back down memory lane. We need to talk about the pyramid in the north, and we talk about the cocoa in the southwest, where we talk about the palm oil in the southeast way back then. Then all of a sudden, these regions noted for producing high quality of those products are no longer performing producing the way they used to be, despite an increase in population. We will say the layer of white collar job must have been responsible for this, or probably government failed to continue with the program they started in the 60s and the 70s that put us where we are.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very good question. My brother, you see, United Nations once says, and I quote, that Nigerian population in 2050 will grow to about 50 million. You see, our ability to contain this population is what matters a lot. We are not disputing the fact that the population will not grow, and we are not disputing the fact that the population is not going to be a blessing. But what is happening today, or let me just use the word, the bad governor or bad leadership, if the leadership are not updoing, I am telling you that the population will be indeed a very big crisis to the good people of Nigeria. We have witnessed so many population growth in other parts of the world, and the population has been a blessing. My yearning and aspiration always to the good people of Nigeria, to the leadership of this world, this country, Nigeria, is to see that the white collar jobs are not actually enough for everybody to tap into it. But there is, however, the government is supposed to be updoing and look at some of the cushioning effect in seeing that the population is a blessing to the country Nigeria. Because if the population grows to that extent, I am telling you, and no cushioning effect, is going to be indeed a very big crisis, like I said. Because one, instead of us to continue to groom the productive aspect of the society, we will continue to groom the banditry, kidnappers, and also Boko Haram insurgency, the IPOB, also others, and the rest. These are the kind of people who will be growing in our society. Other countries have grown. It is simple that we have from the experience, or from the wealth of experience of other nations who have grown with the population and become where they are. Because whichever population you are going to grow in a society, we should be looking at how it's going to add more impact to the economy of the nation, like that of the Singapore. Singapore was in a crisis that is even more difficult than ours today. But today we're in Singapore. The China is there too as well. There are populations. The Indians are there to mention, but just a few. But you see, all these populations are populations that have today adding more economic value to the society. But in our own case in Nigeria, there is no cushioning effect that could be as a result, to my own understanding, that could be as a result of a bad governance. And you see, the governments of today have actually seen that they have actually had, not because you look at it, we have some of the thematic pillars that the government is supposed to follow to see that the population, to me, that is the cushioning effect. The cushioning effect is the thematic pillars that the government is supposed to put in place to see that the population will grow to meet this level, and the population will be indeed a very big blessing to the nation. One is to see to the education, and also the education and skill acquisition of the good people of Nigeria, entrepreneurship and employment of the good people of Nigeria, and also looking at the good health and well-being of Nigeria, and also look at the youth involvement in governance. Most of it, or let me just get that of the last thematic pillars, which is the youth involvement in governance. There are youth, of course, that are involved in this governance, but there are no youth that have the technical know-how, the educational development to equally move this nation forward. We are giving people a power based on favoritism. How do you expect them to work? They cannot work because they don't even know what it is. And the United Nations and the Sustainable Development Goals is talking about ending hunger by 2030. And today we are almost expiring the time frame, and yet you have not done anything, and nothing is being done. This is because you have not put in the youth that understand the nitty-gritty of how to grow the society beyond what we are looking at today. And that is why we will continue to be backward if only the measures and parameters is not put in place. To me, I think because we have failureship in leadership, and the leadership need to wake up to their responsibility. In the past, we are meant to understand that we even live in that of the agriculture of the northern part of the country, and the growing cocoa, the cotton, among others. These are things that have been feeding the nation over time before the advent of oil, and also other things that have led to this today. But notwithstanding, we still have a way to go, a long way to go. But the government need to wake up to their responsibility to see to the betterment of this nation, or else there is a lot of challenges that will bedevil us in time to come.
You talked about a lot of challenges. I still going down memory lane. In the 1800 and early 19th century, Thomas Malthus talked about population growing geometrically and the production growing arithmetically. Though later that theory has been countered by so many philosophers, and also the improvement in production. But the same cannot be said of Nigeria. Look at our level of production. Can it meet up with our level of the goals of our population? You talked about palliative measures, but those are short-term solutions being provided. But it has not been able to address the issue facing the country, talking about the food insecurity. It seems that the Thomas Malthus theory, the Malthusian theory, is coming to pass in the case of Nigeria, because the population is growing geometrically, but our production level is growing arithmetically. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Do you think that philosophy, that postulation by Thomas Malthus is really coming to pass in the case of Nigeria?
Well, as it stands, they actually coming to pass because the government is not actually putting measures in place. And these are some of those measures that I've just told you about, the thematic pillars, to see how to grow the food security in our environment. You understand? What we are actually saying is the government need to be proactive and need to work up to their responsibilities. There is nothing that is indoable except something that don't exist. Things are indeed very doable, and the nation needs to wake up to their responsibility, especially the leadership of the country. Else, I've told you, we are going to be faced with a lot of challenges. But let there be partnership, not even among within the country, but let there be also a global partnership to see how we can grow the food security in our environment. But the government are actually doing well.
Some people have also said because of the level of insecurity, which is responsible for the current situation we are. But do you think it's only insecurity that is responsible for the shortage of food or food insecurity in the country?
Well, insecurity is also one of the major factors that have been contributing, because today some of our people in Zamfara, in Kano, in Sokoto State to be precise, and also Katsina cannot even longer go to the farm and farm any longer by collecting also ransom from them before they farm. And you look at these things, if the produce is even coming out, if I assume if they even allow them to even plant and produce, even if it must come out, it's going to come out in a way that it will be very difficult for a common man to equally access it or to equally buy it, because one, there is no resources in the hands of the masses. Since there is no resources in the hands of the masses, and the kidnappers and the Boko Haram insurgencies are busy occupying, terrorizing the farmers in the local areas, how do you expect those things will be that cheaper when it gets to this level? in the recent past or in few years ago, you used to buy a bag of beans for not less than at least 25,000 naira. But today, go to the market and see what bag of beans is, and also that of the rice, and also look at even that of the watermelon and other fruits, among others, other food items. In fact, the security issues have actually bedeviled, and I'm still boiling it down to the issue of bad leadership. Bad leadership is what is causing all this problem. Those people are just few in numbers, and it is not as if the government cannot curtail with them. It's not as if the government cannot deal with them, but it has become a business that one will just continue to make an end out of it, or a living out of it, which is very, very bad to this country, to this very nation. You understand? Just few people, few elements, few people, bad eggs among the people are only using this insecurity issue to equally kill the teeming population of Nigeria. But the government need to wake up. They need to be very, very proactive. Else we will not go anywhere. We will still remain in this same circle, revolving and going round, and we will find it very difficult for us to come out of this issue. But insecurity is something we cannot take away from these current challenges of malnutrition and food insecurity in Nigeria.
You talked about bad leadership, and that will take my mind back to the issue about the reflection of our society. These days, we've been castigating majority of the leaders, the state governors, the councillors, the local government chairman. Some people are saying it's also a reflection of the society. Do you think a time will come when we can get it right when it comes to leadership? Because the majority of the problems we are facing also come from the leadership, just like you mentioned, that we do have. But is there a possibility of leadership? Because when we look at the current population right now and the kind of leaders we are producing, I'm not even sure if we are producing leaders. Most times we are producing politicians, because politicians take more about themselves, and that's the kind of people we have running affairs in this country than leaders, nationalists, people who are thinking about putting forward a vision that can see the future generation. Do you see a change in the way things are, especially when it comes to the kind of leaders or politicians we are producing?
Thank you so much. I think this has equally drawn me back to equally remember the days that, in fact, up to date, I am still on it. And you see, they say the society grow within, not immediately, but it will definitely have to take time. And as it stands, people like us, as the youth and young ambassadors of this nation, we have a good tool as well that have been trying to see how we can inculcate good character, good moral value to the upcoming generation of Nigeria. There is no time the core members are not the core members will not go to camp. That will not always be with them to sensitize them and educate them on the need for them to embrace good leadership. Good leadership will definitely come to play in Nigeria, because I want to believe that I have still not less than 1 million youth today in this country. But of course, you know, it is not the number of people that you train that will definitely align with your ideology. But out of this 1 million that I've told you about, out of over this 1 million that I've trained today, I want to believe that if I have not less than 100,000 to continue to propagate the good moral value, I am telling you, Nigeria has hope, and we have hope even in the nearest future. That we are not only going to train the politicians, but we are going to train younger generations that will be more responsible for the growth of this nation, Nigeria. We organize so many things. There are so many things we did in that place, and we keep on reflecting on the things that happened in the past and the attitude of our politicians in the society, and where they have taken us to today and where we expect to be tomorrow. And we try to disassociate that attitude of that character in them and also that leadership in them, and equally see how we can bring in good leadership that will make a very good meaning to the good people of Nigeria, not for the nation, for the generation of today, but the generation yet on board. And as I'm talking to you today, we have a group, and that is why we are young ambassadors of Northern Nigeria, that we are trying to see how we can make things good for the betterment of Nigeria, the population of today, the generation of today, and generation yet unborn. And we are doing our possible best to see that Nigeria, by the special grace of God, with frequent and continuous advocacy and sensitization, Nigeria will be a better place for people to live in the nearest future by the special grace of God. So we are doing our possible best. And I want to equally draw your attention to the issue of Mr. President's pronunciation about the youth confab. And I want to still say it, that if this confab will equally go on, let them equally look at the credible youths that have been contributing to the growth of this nation, not for favoritism, not for who knows who, but at least go into it and look at those who have been contributing in the other way around to the build up of this youth of this nation, Nigeria, for it to be a better place. I think if I may take you down the lane and see what happened in the past of the previous confab during President Excellency, you understand what they did today. It has not been passed into law, but in this issue that is coming to the youth axis, please let them see what they can do, because I know there are so many other youth today that are following that cannot even contribute to a quarter of the problem of Nigeria, because they don't even know it. So many don't know it, only few. So please let there be a kind of scrutinization of bringing in this youth that will equally fit into this issue of the discussion of the confab and also for the betterment of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Okay, just before I let you go, Mr. Tijani, one thing I would definitely ask you also has to do with some of the things that is happening right now. There's been a deliberate effort on the part of government to also explore other mineral resources that we have. Recently, there has been so much talk about mining, and there is so much investment going into that, away from the over-reliance on crude oil. Do you think that will also lead to a paradigm shift in the way things are being done, and probably there will be a reduction in interest on over-reliance on crude oil, and what do you make of federal government trying to diversify our interest and also shifting attention to diversify into other areas? Like we know there are mineral sources in Bauchi, in Kogi, and in some other places that have not really been maximized to at the topmost level. What do you think about this?
Well, thank you very much. You see, I kept saying that Nigeria is a blessed nation, and Nigeria is one of the best, if not the best, across the globe. Nigeria is indeed endowed with a lot of natural resources, and we have been discussing this issue time over time, and that let us see how we can diversify from this mono economy. It's mono economy because we are over dependent on the issue of oil, and I say the population growth is a blessing if only we think is going to be a blessing for Nigeria. And like the countries I have mentioned that have grown over time today, have not actually depended on the issue of oil or one economic system, but equally diversified from the issue of the skill acquisition. Let us see how we can equally grow our youth and change their mindset from that of the white collar jobs to also skill acquisition. It is only by doing that you will see that the economy of the nation will grow beyond what you are thinking, and also diversification of this mono economy. You see, if we diversify, we have a lot of skill acquisition, we have so many other things like the agro enterprise among others. The resources that we have in this nation today, we can as well use them in order to grow the economy of this nation, Nigeria. So it's the whole issue still boils down to the issue of bad leadership. Our leaders are the people that can put this nation straight, and only when they are committed to doing that the nation will diversify from that. So I think we have indeed a very good opportunity. Look at the Kogi state that you have just made mention. There are so many things that people can do, like the cassava there. You have the palm oil there. That alone is even something. Come to the issue of that of the north, especially that of the Kano. We have a lot of fertile lands that a lot of things can be done and diversified revive this economy, that the world will be running down to Nigeria looking for what they will eat if only we can depend on what we have and improve on that aspect. I am telling you, Nigeria will be a nation where every other nations across the globe will be running down to for survival. So Nigeria is a blessed nation. Nigerian leaders must wake up, and they must wake up to their responsibility. And however, they used to usually abuse their mind from the issue of white collar jobs after graduation. We kept saying it, that there are not much white collar jobs. By the time you finish and you expect to get that white collar job, honestly speaking, is a mirage. You cannot have it. It's difficult. Not everybody will be able to have that white collar job to go and be working in that government parastatal ministerial agency. But however, I think it's for us to achieve this dividend of democracy, the government needs to do something. I have mentioned it, and I have put in the factors that needs to be worked that needs to work on in order to meet up with the dividend of democracy in Nigeria, because it's a population growth potential that result from a shift in population age structure. Mainly when the working age population structure between the ages of 15 and 65 is larger in the workforce than that of the non-working age population between the ages of 14 below and 65 and older. That is the only way we can achieve it. But if we don't do that, honestly speaking, we will not achieve it, and the government need to do something so that we can achieve that. Thank you so much.
I must say thank you to you, Daniel Abdulmuni, for joining us this morning and shedding light on food insecurity and the challenges before the government right there. But not just government, also the state government need to really step up, not forgetting the local government right there. And hopefully, with the economy given to the local government, probably there will be a paradigm shift in this, and people can also develop at the local level, not waiting for the government. I must say thank you to you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me once again, and God bless you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so much right there discussing with Tijani Abdulmuni on the food insecurity and also the level of malnutrition right there and how to really counter it. So much from the Abuja Network Studio right there. We also be looking up where have the Network Studio for further discussion or other conversation on